A big hello and a very warm welcome to a special episode of Brand Equity with me, Sonali Krishna. This week, Brand Equity travelled all the way to Goa to get you all the action, controversies, debates, discussions, awards and of course the sun and sand straight from Goa Fest 2016. Take it away. Now, before the 11th edition of the Abbeys kicked in, the new organising committee's goal was to keep the spotlight on the youth, and rightfully so. In fact, they even introduced two new categories under the Young Abbeys to target the young mad men and women under the age of 35. While the promise to reach out to the young Jones was all over the media as an attempt to refresh the theme, I got candid with the millennials themselves just to check if the Goa Fest committee delivered on their promise. They got candid and brutally honest, unlike our industry captains. This is a must-watch.
Hi, I'm Prerna Sharma.
Rohit.
Tara. Vismaya.
Nikhil Shankar.
I'm from HCL Technologies.
Group M Maxis.
At Brave New World Communications.
I work as a brand manager.
Part of creative team.
I'm a brand manager.
Creative controller.
Digital planning manager.
So we're at Goa Fest, and this year Goa Fest's new theme is all about focusing on the under 30s. And so here I am, joined by an eclectic group of under 30s who are very vociferous about whether the Goa Fest committee has actually delivered this time round or not. So let me kickstart this very interesting debate with, I think, the future of advertising, marketing and branding of this country. And let me put the question right back to them. So let me start with one of you who's ready with an answer, quick, sharp and crisp. Do you think this conference, the Goa Fest 2016, is actually serving, your age group, your demographic, which is under 30s? Yeah, let's start with you.
In my honest opinion, I would say that I did not even realize there was a special category like under 30. We were the preferred ones or something like that. There was, apart from the registration, I honestly, and I don't know about the group, but I felt that there was nothing special done for us or with any special focus. Yes, I do believe a lot could be done in terms of how we network as under 30s who are like budding marketers or advertising people.
So are you saying that you expect, let's say, because you have a lot of senior advertising, marketing professionals here, would you say, am I right to assume that what would be very beneficial for your group would be that if there was, let's say, a mentor who in a small group would actually take you through, so there's more touch feel experience with that one person, and so hence more exchange and learning?
I guess that's very true. If you get if you can interact with people on a one-on-one basis, or even for instance if we can have so across all the Goa Fest we've had the same kind of speakers, so what if we had young speakers, those who've excelled at a young age and who've done great work and have won awards,
so you're saying instead of having the same ad guys coming over,
why not have younger speakers who we can connect with and who've achieved a lot at this age.
So somebody who, let's say, who won like a gold at the
absolutely,
Abbey, come and talk about his experience.
Yeah, so that can inspire us to
example.
do to follow suit as well.
Yeah.
Coming from an agency background, you tend to get into that whole rut of working late hours, especially when you're just starting off, right? So what essentially this does to you is it just bogs you down initially. So that is very critical. That is a very crucial period, and under 30s is essentially what we're talking about right now. And you need that amount of impetus, that motivation that is required for you to keep at it and not give up in the first couple of years when you're working in an agency, right? I just came out of a Varun Agarwal seminar, and that I think was somewhere near the bullseye. I wouldn't say bullseye, somewhere near the bullseye. So probably you have a Balki and Karan Johar session, you have a Varun Agarwal session as well, but the specificity of what they're discussing probably makes a lot of sense. Without making it too vague, without making the topic of discussion extremely macro, I think it makes more sense to have have it hit that bullseye within that frame of 45 minutes to an hour.
Well said, well said. Yeah.
I think I just want to add what my friends just said. Collaboration of senior advertisement leaders versus under 30 leaders.
Okay, so you're saying that kind of jugalbandi should
Correct.
happen, right? When you have a senior, so maybe even reverse mentoring. Tell me, we finished, a significant time here at Goa Fest. Is this your first time?
Yeah, it is.
It's your first time. So what would be, for a first timer, a virgin at Goa Fest, what would be your first impressions of this, advertising festival?
It's funny you put it that way because I've been a part of a lot of other forums, and let me be very honest and candid that they have been very meaningful forums, actually adding more value than Goa Fest. Why? Because all of us, especially my age group, tends to be a part of these forums so that we can bring to the table what our bosses can't.
Great.
Yeah. And if a seminar was the point of attending this, then I'd rather hear TED Talks, where I'll actually find speakers who are there doing much better work and, actually have more experience or rather on any parameter.
Sure.
Why I come here is to actually meet agencies and to discover if they have anything that can really add value to my work.
Absolutely.
Right? And that kind of interaction is not really happening.
Networking needs to be more streamlined.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to be organized. There have to be platforms wherein you can actually just go and say, hi, I know what you do and you know what I do. And let's talk.
People who are at the helm of the industry and at the helm of this festival are broadly the same. And it's been the same over, let's say, the last decade or so, if not more. Do you think maybe it's time that they wake up and say, let's get some young guns onto the committee, let's get their inputs, and then let's design it together, right?
So, Shonali, I don't know if you were here yesterday, but there were 3 very senior people who actually spoke about their experiences with agencies.
Yes.
And the funny bit was that all of them said the same thing, that, the speaker before me has covered almost everything that I have to say.
Right.
Right. And that was very funny because, with that kind of experience, and all of them came from very different backgrounds.
Sure.
Right? And if none of them had anything to add, you're absolutely bang on target. We ought to have more people who have been exploring, let's say, different facets and can add a new viewpoint.
Sure.
So if I travel all this distance and I have 3 people with a cumulative 100 years of marketing experience telling me, I don't have anything new to add, that's like a...
Hang on. So would you say that as the format stands today, and the format has been the same for many years, would you say that, if nothing is done drastically to, let's say, shake this format up and infuse some new blood, this format will pretty much be irrelevant for a group like yours, and sooner than later, just getting free beer or free alcohol and, soaking in the sun is not going to be incentive enough for you to come here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
1 second, let me give something you haven't spoken.
Yeah, so the name itself, Goa Fest, implies that it's a mela. The perception increasingly is that because there are so many categories of awards and so many awards,
sure,
again it's a Janta award sort of thing, right? And I think in the talk it was mentioned that Low Lintas has sort of kept away from it.
There's Low, there's Ogilvy.
Yeah, exactly, precisely.
There's so many now.
So if all your top agencies are keeping away from this, is this gradually becoming the second rung awards in India or the third rung? I mean, it's going to go down. If your top guys are not there, it's going to go down. So to fix this, number one, it has to be made more exclusive, fewer categories which are more relevant, and for the fight for winning each of those categories has to be higher. Secondly, the number of people who participate has to be more limited, more exclusive.
Sure.
There has to be some qualifying criteria as to who can participate and who cannot.
Let me ask you guys another question. Have you guys been following the controversy around Goa Fest with these agencies wanting to participate, not participate? This constant ego massaging, please come.
Yeah,
Sometimes they come, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
What do you guys make of this ongoing drama?
I think, I mean, if I have to answer this, I think, it's just that, some agencies, feel that, that they're too big to, participate in an award like this. That, we'll be doing, great work and we don't need someone else to judge and tell us, that whether our work is good enough or not. So I think it's more of that because, and then you have agencies who keep their own awards. I'm saying that when you have, so every agency can have its own awards, and then, and then there is no platform for, people from one industry to come together, and celebrate excellence in work.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Let's let Ranveer Singh answer.
Yeah. So to add to his point, so basically, see, Goa Fest is what brings all the ad agencies together. And we as a fraternity, we are together. So we have to show our strength over here. You just can't back out. You're like, no, I'm just too big for this, or I just don't want to be there.
So you think because of this constant ego clashes amongst the top people in the industry, you think the current, the people, the aftermath or people who are actually suffering are actually the younger lot across agencies, because they don't give a damn whether, Piyush is fighting with Balki or Balki is fighting with Arvind Sharma or whatever, right? I mean, no, just pass it because let's get to the new people.
So I just read, before coming to Goa, I just read in the newspaper that this is the 10th anniversary of the Goa Fest. And since Piyush Pandey has been awarded with Padma Shri, so this time he will come.
That's true.
So see, again, this is, making news, just for making news, but his, the works which has been done is not being nominated in the, he's not participating in the Abbeys. So this is kind of demotivating. So
basically you're saying he's coming here, but
just for the fame. I mean, to put in a wrong, right was just for the fame, because you got a Padma Shri and this is the 10th anniversary, so that you're just coming just to have a one speech. That's it, but not interacting with the youngsters.
Sure.
So I think one thing that will help us all, especially because we're young and entering awards, is that the judging process, if it could be more transparent. Being on the outside and being somebody who's under 30 and wants to enter, if we can just hear their points of view, we'll know how to craft our entries better. So probably that transparency will...
We all know that digital, and we have been hearing this for last 2 days, digital is the way to go. I don't see anywhere digital is part of our folklore. Here at Goa Fest.
Sure.
Let me go back to...
But there is an app.
No, so... no, that is... If app is about digitalization, I'm sorry, the world is not moving in the right direction, number one. Second, the whole ideology of Goa Fest was about networking, number one. Second, showcase. Third, people coming here and interacting with each other, which is different from networking as Goa Fest puts it. I don't think either is happening. That's pretty much.
The gentleman next to you is dying to make a point.
I think
yes.
I had a point previously. So one again, the topic where it went, there are a lot of things, a lot of advancements that can be done in that application. There is a lot more scope. I'll not talk about the critics, something happened to conversation, but I think the positive part about this Goa Fest was that we come from brand side, HCL Technologies. We market, we advertise, we look for agencies to work. The good thing that I think agencies and we will get a scope is that when they win awards, we get to see there are several agencies in India who we can approach to. There were several times we were looking for agencies who can just create some websites for us and we couldn't find it.
Sure.
And this is the time which actually gives us that leverage that now we have, okay, Ogilvy is there is McCann is there, okay, this third agency is also there, won 7 awards in Abbey at Goa Fest, which is a very good point for us.
This has been a really invigorating session, but ma'am, why don't you conclude, let's say in bullet points, what Goa Fest did for you this year?
Yeah, just looking at how we fix this, right? What we figured, number one, nothing for under 30s, right? Nothing like a 30 or a 35 or a 45, everything was the same. No new content in what the speakers spoke, right? Very far from digital, everything, right? And the one thing I would want to add, just add maybe a training or a curriculum of sorts where the young guns like us come in actually to learn something as well and not just have beer.
Sure,
right.
Fair enough.
So,
I think that's a perfect closing to this really, really energetic discussion. I must say I've interviewed a lot of people at the Goa Fest this year and of course, many years in the past as well. And I must say this has been a truly one of my best interviews or discussions that I've taken at the Goa Fest. Very enlightening. Glad to see that the young guns are not yet part of the political race, are not, just backslapping each other for the sake of it, are very, very candid in terms of what they want and what they expect of others. And I'm hoping that as you guys, progress in your careers, you'll maintain that kind of spirit. Thank you so much for taking time out and joining us. From an increase in agency participation to a renewed judging process to inclusion of new categories, Goa Fest 2016 worked on it all. But the million-dollar question is, who stole the show and who made it as showstopper? Well, without further ado, it's time to transport you to the Abbeys 2016. Here's a detailed report of the top rankers, new entrants, and of course, a new token of appreciation that gave Goa Fest 2016 its much-needed utopian ending after a long list of conflicts. Vijay Ravi and Ronak Shetty steer you into the ceremony.
Metaphorically, titled the Goa Fest, a song of fire and ice.
Agencies are lacking digital work and digital work has become important. But what are we doing for that?
Look at the advertising industry, not as such a creative industry.
From battling fiery accusations, philosophical adversaries turning into mutually compliant allies, this season encountered it all. Quite the perfect plot for the 11th edition of the fest. But then it boiled down to one simple proposition. Who would claim the throne in this creative warfare? Before we chariot through the winning visuals, here are some remarkable facts to reckon with. Despite the big agencies opting out of the fest, the number of entries for the creative abbeys shot up from 2,801 in 2015 to a staggering 3,446 this year. The media abbeys too saw quite an entry escalation, a boost from 674 in the previous year to 1,014 in 2016. So all in all on the participation front, the Goa Fest witnessed 585 new names. Though the participation saw a significant climb, for the jury, the creative report was just about average this year. The number of gold medals awarded in 2016 went down from 71 to 38. So we decided to bring up that very golden question, and here's what the ad frat had to say.
I think it's very good because I don't think all the golds, though we have also got some golds, all the golds are of gold standard.
I think the Indian jury, I've always noticed that is harder than any other jury. We're very hard on ourselves and look at our work with a very, very critical eye. I'm hoping that will change, and we should be more encouraging and more inclusive of ideas for them to actually go up and win gold at the national level or even a Grand Prix.
So here's what the final medal tally looked like at the Creative Abbeys 2016. JWT bagged the numero uno spot for the third time in a row, winning a grand total of 47 medals, including 5 golds, 21 silvers and 21 bronzes.
Our agenda has been to bring the entire body of work up to a certain level, up a few notches. And I was very happy, therefore, at this time that it's not only the golds and the 47 medals that we have won, it's the 200 shortlists that we have got, it's the Young Abbeys gold that we have got, it's the total number of medals that we have won. And to me, winning on big brands of big agency and big companies like Unilever and Godrej, to me that has been very important.
We try and solve every client's business problem with an ideal solution, but at the same time we focus on the idea in the ideal.
After a lackluster performance last year, Taproot came back with a bang, bagging the second spot, losing out to JWT by only 7 medals. The agency managed to bag 2 golds, 19 silvers and 19 bronzes, giving them a total of 40 medals.
So I'm really happy that we have managed to push our bars from 34 medals to 40 medals this year at Goa Fest. That time we were 33 people, now we are 40 people. So we don't want to grow in terms of number of people, but we want to grow with the creative capability, the creative stature, and that's what we have been doing.
Slipping down a place and rounding off the top 3 was contract advertising, with a total of 26 medals, with 1 gold, 9 silvers and 16 bronzes.
We were actually predicting that we may not be among the top 2 or 3, actually, because last year our entire intent and our entire approach or strategy was very different.
I don't think we were represented in certain categories, which to my mind are a little easier wins. If you look at the number of medals which were coming in traditional categories were a little lesser, and most of our work were in those categories. Whereas things like PR and brand activation, we didn't have entries at all. And in those categories, there were a lot of medals.
Hats off to the top 3 agencies for winning a few golds, a few silvers and a lot of bronzes. But one thing that was missing from Goa Fest this year was a Grand Prix. And kudos to the jury on making that rather hard decision. That being said, this year, the Best in Category award was introduced. This award is of higher value than a gold, but lower value than a Grand Prix, and it has us a bit confused. If a piece of work was good enough to earn a Grand Prix, it should have, and if not, a gold should have sufficed. We don't understand why exactly they couldn't make up their minds.
I think it's Grand Prix or it's no Grand Prix. I don't agree with this in between way of celebrating Grand Prix.
It's a bit confusing. I agree with that. So hopefully they'll only stick to the Grand Prix because I think that's the one that matters most.
I don't think that makes sense. How can there be something midway between a best of the best? That's what a Grand Prix is. It is the second best of the best. I mean, I didn't sort of quite happy with that one.
Well, the Best in Category winner went to Publici Communications for Ambuja Cement, A Giant Story. And here's Bobby Pawar, CCO Publicis' take on whether he bought into the concept or not. Listen in.
Best in the media, I don't know what that means, right? I don't even know what an orgasm means, but I'm happy to have both, so what the hell? When it comes to these things, I think the only way you take it is with your chin forward. If it lands on your chin, great. If it's a pat on your back, great.
Now flipping towards the media abbeys, that's often placed conflicts at bay. Right from participation to the victory plunge, it was a sight that just couldn't be missed. Here's the final list of how the medals stacked up for the media entries. Mindshare trekked to the #1 spot after being second best at the Abbeys since the past 2 years, bagging 17 medals in total.
It's great to see that in Goa Fest, where a lot of creativity is what gets promoted, that we won with 17, and we also won about 4 awards in the rest of South Asia, where Bangladesh won 3 and Sri Lanka won 1. It's great to see the other countries also contributing to the entire South Asia platform. So it's a great evening, delighted.
Maxis bagged the second spot as the agency was awarded 7 medals for its work over the past year.
I think our focus has always been, doing great work on clients, creative work, effective work, and I think all the medal wins are a testimony of our focus purely from the last 2-3 years of what we call as Trinity, which is data, digital, technology, content all coming together.
Paradoxically, Lodestar UM slipped to the 3rd spot alongside Madison Media after its 2-year dream run at the Abbeys, cementing the top spot.
I think some of the work that we actually entered just didn't get shortlisted, so that was a little disappointing and surprising. For example, this year Amul, I'm surprised, is not done equally well. Or Tata Motors, we've done some really great work on Tata Motors, but that did.
We enter in very few categories, and I think that has been a traditional weakness of Madison. So I think in the categories in which we enter, we do reasonably well. Not the best, but we do reasonably well.
From an increase in agency participation to 25%, giving the fest its so-called New Age theme, and of course cleaning up the judging process. Wait, something still seems missing. We caught up with the ones who are missing from all the action and yet stole the limelight with their unique token of appreciation. This is how the ad frat reacted to it all.
Would we like them to be here? Of course we'd like them to be here. If they aren't here, we can live without that, right? Because I think we've got the growth is 20-25% on it.
I think the day we can sit across the table and agree that the objectives for Indian advertising are correct, that's the day I'll be back at Goa Fest.
I wish they would participate because it's actually their loss. That this is what people consider, young people consider it as a national award more than anything else. And
do we require a gold, silver, bronze? Do we require so many categories? Or do we require just few pieces to be taken out? Or is it that for 1 year we should push a certain kind of, because a lot of people say that, agencies are lacking digital work and digital work is becoming important, but what are we doing for that?
I don't know, I'm not a believer in like dancing on the sidelines, right? Either you get on the freaking dance floor or you don't dance, sit at your table and have your get drunk, right? Don't freaking dance on the sidelines.